Alright, welcome to the second video. Again, what is our essential? I can evaluate square roots. If we have some lighting issues, again, I apologize. It's just been kind of tricky. Um, Doing the same ideas, we're just finding square roots. Here's what we're going to find that's a little different though, is these are not what we call perfect square roots. In the last video, we dealt with only perfect square roots. And here's what I mean. So if we look at the square root of 50, we're thinking what number multiplied by itself or what number squared equals 50? And if we start just kind of going through the list, we're going to find out nothing works, right? There is no perfect number multiplied by itself that equals 50, okay? Another place we can see this is you can see I have that chart that I suggested that you guys make in the last video. This is my chart, and you can see I have this going all the way out to 100, the square root of 144 being 12, okay? As you keep going, if you get numbers that are even bigger than that, I would just keep adding to the end of this list, okay? And remember, all we're doing here is this gives me the square root, and this gives me the answer, right? So the square root of 9 is 3. Why? Because 3 times 3 is 9, so on and so forth. So here, if I look for the square root of 50 in my square root numbers, right, it's not here because it's not a perfect square. So what we're doing is we're going to try to get as close to one of these numbers as we can get. So you can see 50 is really close to 49, okay? And it's just a little bit bigger than 49, which means it's going to be just a little bit bigger than 7, okay? The next one is 64. It's nowhere near 64. It's much closer to 49 than the 64. So I'm just going to say a number that's closer to 7 than to 8 as the answer. And what we're going to do for all of these is we're going to approximate them, right? So I'm just going to come over here and I'm just going to give me an approximate. So I'm going to go 7 point something. And since I know it's much closer to 7 than to 8, I'm going to go 7.1. Okay? And that's all we're going to do. We're just going to go one decimal out and we're just going to approximate it. And as we go through these, hopefully, you'll understand exactly how I'm approximating the decimal. But honestly, as long as you're getting some kind of a decimal here, just showing that you know it's not 7, you know it's not 8, it's somewhere in between. That's really all we're really looking for right now. Okay, so even if you're not getting really good estimations, that's okay. Okay, coming down to number 2, the square root of 95. Again, I have this chart here, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look in my chart and look for 95, and I see it's not here, right? You can see these get bigger and bigger and bigger as we go along. So 64, keep going, 81, keep going, 100, too big. So it's somewhere in between here. It's somewhere between 9 and 10, okay? So I know it's going to be 9 point something because that's the numbers in between 9 and 10 are 9 point something, okay? And all I'm asking is 95 closer to 100 or is it closer to 81? Right? And it's 5 away from 100. It's more than 5 away from 81. So I know it's closer to 100. So I'm going to pick a number closer to 10 than to 9. So I'm going to go 9 point. And again, as long as you have that point something, right, that's all we're looking for right now. But to try to get it close, I know it's closer to 100, but it's not really close to 100. So I'm not going to go with like 9. So I'm going to go like let's go 9.8, right? Maybe 9.7. I don't know. It's just an estimate, right? So somewhere in there. It's closer to 10 than to 9, though. So we're going to pick a number bigger than 5 as our decimal, right? And then 13, right? I'm just going to go on my chart. I'm going to try to figure out where that falls. So it's bigger than 9, less than 16. So it's somewhere in between 3 and 4. So it's going to be 3 point something. And I'm looking and I can see 13's like right in the middle. I could do some math and figure out which one specifically it's closer to, but since this is estimating, I don't really care. I realize it's like right in the middle. It's really close to being to both of these, so I'm just going to go 3.5. I'm going to say I realize that 13 is really close to being to the middle of 9 and 16. So I'm just going to go with 3.5 for my final answer. Okay, so hopefully you have constructed one of these answer charts. If not, I would suggest doing it. You can pause this video, copy down what I have, uh, or construct your own so that way you understand how it's constructed. That would be even better. But at this point, these are the practice problems for this, right? So pause the video, write these down, put these here, and then I'm just going to take a screenshot of the answers. Okay, so you'll have the answers on the website.